Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As you may know, I've been working with technology for quite a bit now, and I studied business and computer science in college. But how did I get to this place? What made me so interested in technology? Well, today I want to share a little bit about how I got started with technology, how I became interested in programming. So I hope that my story will help you. Maybe it's interesting, and hopefully you'll find your own path on this journey of learning more about technology and programming. So yeah, let's get into it. So the first thing that really made me interested was that when I was really small, I enjoyed playing a lot of games. There were things from virtual worlds to role-playing games, and I really just enjoyed exploring the computers. And I remember when my parents would try to get me to stay away from the computers and not play so much video games, but I just really enjoyed being able to explore what was on those computers. When I was younger, the computers were really big, like giant boxes, and I would just try and find whatever there was on there. I think there was a website called Big Fish Games, and I would just try to play as much free games as I could, a lot of time management games, and I was just really interested in playing games during my free time. And after I started playing more games during middle school, high school, what happened was that I discovered a game that was made by Ubisoft. It was a virtual world, and it was just for fun. I didn't really think much of it, but I just remember wanting to create banners and all these images to kind of set up my own shop in one of the forums that they had. And I remember that the forums had these HTML tags, and at the time I didn't know that they were HTML tags. What happened was that I just wanted my videos and my images to show up properly, so I just learned from other members who were on the site already on how to make them and how to get my banners and everything to show up as my signature whenever I would post on the forum. And I just started doing more and more complicated things, being able to link things, being able to have embedded stuff showing up when I was making a post in the forum. So that was kind of how I got my first start into programming. At the time I didn't even know it was HTML, but later on when I discovered what it was, I took more classes online. I took one by Skill Crush, a web development class later on in high school, and I really enjoyed that one. And I also did a digital media camp during the summers when I was in high school. And that was a really interesting experience for me, because during that camp, not only did I learn about how to create a project, I learned about agile methodologies, I learned about game development, user experience, user interface design, everything around that. But I also got to visit real companies in my city that had a lot of cool technology initiatives going on, and we were able to talk to some of these people who are working in exciting technology careers, and that kind of just got me started thinking about what I wanted to do after high school. So at the time, not a lot of people around me, none of my friends really wanted to go into computer science or programming. Nobody really had a strong interest in that area, so I never really took any programming classes during high school because I could never really find friends that wanted to do it with me, and I was too intimidated to do it by myself. So it was kind of just me teaching myself coding through online courses, YouTube, tutorials, and I did end up taking a web design class though in high school, and that was when I got a better sense of HTML, CSS, a little bit of JavaScript, and I really enjoyed that class. Moving on to college, at that time I already completed some other courses that I just found on the internet that were interesting to me, but not really programming. At that time I haven't really touched any object-oriented programming or anything like that. I was just mainly playing around with front-end development things, trying to make websites and things like that. So in my first year of college, I decided to do a combined major in business and computer science, because I remember taking some economics courses and accounting courses in high school, and I thought they were pretty interesting to me. So I might as well do a combined major, see if I liked one more than the other, and if I didn't, I could always drop one later on. So I just began my journey with this double sort of major, and along the way, in my first year especially, it was really tough for me. What happened was that I almost failed out of a couple of classes because I was not really able to manage my mindset nor my study skills effectively at that point. Not only was the content new to me, a lot of the program concepts I've never really programmed before, but I also haven't learned a lot of the calculus in my first year classes. And I also took a lot of different classes at the same time that included labs. So I had a pretty heavy course load on top of learning a lot of new things. So I almost went to my counselor's office to drop out of this major. I was about to say that this isn't for me, I'm not smart enough, but I found some other people on the internet talking about how they were struggling with their first year or so in an engineering or a STEM major, and I decided to maybe stick out a little bit longer and see where it goes. And it was at this point where I discovered a lot of self-development books and self-development coaches, and just a lot of YouTube videos that talked about mindset management as well. And I would say that yes, the studying and putting more work into understanding material definitely helped me later on, but something that was really important for me to learn too in my first year doing this really hard major was definitely learning how to manage my own mindset. I think especially as somebody who's new to programming, or learning computer science for the first time, or another engineering-related major, a lot of us haven't learned these things before, and even if you have, you're going to face a lot of challenges along the way, because one of the main parts of our majors or technology is that we're always learning and solving problems that are new to us. So I think after learning about how people are able to manage your mindset and be able to think differently in a more positive way, that actually really impacted me how I approached academics and everything later on when I was going through college. So during my second semester, what happened was that instead of thinking, oh, why am I so dumb? Why can't I figure this out? Instead, I would ask myself better questions like, what exactly don't I understand? Or how could I get help? And just by asking myself more liberating questions, or questions that presented opportunities for me, I was able to get more help from TAs, professors. I sought out tutors, used online resources, YouTube, textbooks, literally anything I could get my hands on. When you are in a good mindset and you are looking for opportunities instead of just beating yourself down, a lot of help is just presented to you along the way. And believe it or not, most of your TAs and professors actually are there to help you. And it can be intimidating at times, especially when you haven't done well on an exam or an assignment and you feel embarrassed to ask for help, but that is one of the only ways that you'll get better. So I definitely recommend reaching out to people around you just to get help, or to seek out resources on your own. Especially when you're new to something, you have to be resourceful and can't just blame other people. You have to be the one responsible for your own learning and seek out resources yourself to help yourself understand the material better. So that's what I did, and after doing that, I was able to also find my own internship this summer after my first year, and that's how I started working as the digital design intern at a pretty big company. And it was my first real experience working on a cross-functional team, working on an agile team, going to all these meetings, working on real projects that would be eventually published on the website every week. And it was an exciting experience for me, and it also taught me a lot about the different types of things that you can do with technology. We don't all have to be programmers. There's a lot of other things that we can do with the skills that we know. And by completing this internship, I decided that I really enjoyed it, but I also wanted to do something a little more technical just to try out what I really enjoyed better. So my next internship, I did a software engineering internship at Nordstrom, and this was pretty tough to me as well because I've never done a software engineering internship before, and even though I got through the interviews, the technical interviews and everything, I still felt imposter syndrome quite a bit. And especially in the first couple of weeks, I was onboarding and learning all these new languages and tools that I've never used before, and I definitely felt that at times that that I wasn't supposed to be there and that maybe I'm not cut out for it. But again, I think developing a good mindset for me was really important, and that helped me remember that I needed to seek out my own resources and be able to ask for help when I needed it. So I looked up a bunch of tutorials. I think I even bought a React course online just to be able to have a better understanding of what it was and be able to use it in my job. And I was learning it after work as well, spending the time outside my internship, just reading over and doing tutorials, coding, and things like that. So it was a bit of a sacrifice in the beginning, giving up my social time and free time instead of hanging out with other interns. I was basically studying up on a React course outside of work too. But it definitely paid off because I was able to contribute a lot more than I thought I would be during the internship, and I was able to help complete a project on time. So I think even outside of school for internships and things like that, if you don't know anything, instead of feeling like you don't belong, maybe try to look for resources outside of what is typically expected. So if you can't find any resources on YouTube, there are probably really talented people out there who have posted courses or things like that on Udemy or just on their own websites that you can look at. And I think another thing that I learned during that internship was that learning on the way is completely normal. Even some of the older engineers also were learning things that they haven't seen before. So it's definitely a normal part of being a software engineer and working in technology. That's something that comes along with it. So I just learned to embrace it instead of thinking that this wasn't normal, this isn't supposed to be happening, why don't I know it? So yeah, and just breaking problems down into steps, that also really helped me. Instead of looking at a giant problem that I need to solve, I break things down one by one so that I would be able to have a specific question for each thing that I was stuck on, and then I would be able to Google it or Stack Overflow it, whatever I needed to do to figure that one tiny part out, and then I just kept moving myself along. So every day I was making progress, even if it was a little bit at a time. And then later on, after that internship, I also took some other computer science classes, and yeah, they were challenging as well along the way. But I think what really helped me was understanding that it's not about the circumstance itself, but more about the mindset you bring into everything that you do. There are going to be a lot of challenges, and challenging classes, challenging internships, challenges that you haven't seen before along the way. But one of the most important things that you can do is definitely investing into your mindset, making sure that you are developing that area just as much as the technical and hard skills that you think are really important to know about. Because trust me, those things can always be learned, and those things are sometimes a lot easier to learn than having a healthy mindset when it comes to things, because most people in this area, it's not that something is too hard for them or or they don't have enough resources, things like that. It's mainly because they had a poor mindset and they didn't think they could do it, so they just gave up too early and they never gave themselves a fair shot to try. So I just encourage you, wherever you are on your technology journey, if you're just starting out learning a little bit of programming, or you're already learned a couple of programming languages but you're feeling a little bit stuck while you're interviewing, studying for your technical interviews, or you're at a new internship or a job and you feel a little bit out of place because you don't feel caught up with all the tools and technologies that teams are using, I just want to say that it's completely normal wherever stage that you're at, but just remember that keeping a healthy mindset and a growth mindset, that is, will take you really far in life, because a fixed mindset means that you think that your abilities are fixed, but with a growth mindset, your potential is limitless. You could learn as much as you can and develop all the skills that you want, as long as you have the belief in yourself that you can do it. So hopefully this helped some of you. I'll probably be a little bit busy since finals is coming up, but I hope to be posting more during winter break. Let me know about your story in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.